So my kids, if you speak to them in Spanish, they will respond instantly. In Spanish, you can speak to them in English, they'll respond in English.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is it showtime yet?
It is showtime.
Wow. Wow.
Just like that.
Just like that, you know. Reverend, that's how they get me to shut up. He just comes in and does that clap. Yeah. Then I just have to stop talking. That's what. Excited to be here today.
Yes.
I was telling the Reverend here offline that I grew up in Durham. I'm born and raised here. I grew up here. I was born in Duke Hospital. I'm from here. I went through the Durham public schools. And my uncle actually grew up on Ash Street, 2 blocks from here. So I spent a lot of time in this part of Durham 30 years ago. And it has radically changed, I would say. And I probably haven't driven down this street in probably 20 years, right? I got married down the road here. So just happy to be here and see such an amazing group here. So my name is Greg Boone. I haven't introduced myself. I'm CEO of Walk West. As I said, I'm, very familiar with the area, born and raised here. With that, if you could introduce yourselves, I'll start with you, Reverend.
Oh, thank you so much. My name is Johannes Gumbo. I come from Zimbabwe. Originally, that's where I was born, in a family of 12, and I'm the last born, so spoiled. I'm always late at anything, and I'm working on that. But they call me the senior pastor here for 20 years, and I've accepted it. I've been here 20 years here at Shabbat House.
Mi nombre es Antonio Alanis. My name is Antonio Alanis, and I was born in Durango, Mexico. And like you all also have a connection to Durham. We moved here in early 2000. Back when a street here changed name later to another name, but it started with Barnes Avenue. And many, many years ago, that's where my family started. And ever since, we stayed here for over 20, 25 years now.
Hi, my name is Yuki Temma. I originally from Hiroshima, Japan. I moved to New York like maybe 5 years, and then my ex-husband got a job in America at dance ensemble. So he moved to Durham like 20 years ago, maybe 21 years ago. And since then, we live here.
That's awesome. It's awesome. So folks have been here for quite a while. I thought, I grew up here, but man, you guys have been here almost as long. So that's awesome. You talked a little bit about where you're from and what brought you here. So, what's your initial impression of Durham?
When I came to Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary. That's where I got my scholarship to start there. That was 1998. And I graduated 2002. But before my graduation, First Baptist downtown came to Southeastern and said they wanted someone black, which I'm brown, but I think I fitted that, to work with the black community here. Right. And by that time, I used to watch news. And most of the things I heard is someone got shot in Durham. So I said, I didn't come here to die. So, hey, whatever you are offering me, I'm not taking it. So I became a member a little bit and I took off. Let me just run into God's call. I ran away from the call to work with my people here in Durham because I was scared. But after 6 months, I heard that there was a property being sold here in Durham, and I wanted to invest. I love to be in business. I came after that property, bought it. Before like 3 months, I graduated. They took the house out of me. So I had to come and live in that house, now in Durham. And then that's when Shabbat House started. So when I wanted to run away from it, I'm here. I'm here.
Durham was calling.
And 20 years I've been here now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I used to always tell folks, I'm like, hey, a lot of times back then we were known for, some of the violence. And a lot of times that's what gets the clickbait, right? I said, but hey, we're the city of medicine, right? I said, that's what we should be known for. We should be talking a lot more about.
Especially when you say that I was born a Duke. I'm a chaplain at Duke, 14 years voluntary chaplain at Duke. So, yes, this place must be known for something great, which is so great.
Yes, absolutely. Antonio, tell us your origin story and how do you feel?
So my origin story in North Carolina started in around 1999, early 2000. And my parents decided to move from Texas, from El Paso to North Carolina, to reunite with my grandparents. And they heard that there was a lot of economic opportunity here. There were many jobs and things like that would eventually help us improve our quality of life. And ever since, North Carolina and Durham in particular has been a very welcoming city. So I really appreciate all the collaboration with multiple people, multiple nationalities, and a very welcoming opportunity to speak my language as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked a little bit before this about, I was telling my backstory where my wife's family is from Costa Rica and our kids are bilingual and they speak a lot of Spanish and we've been trying to teach them. And, growing up here, I think I was a little jaded, but not in like a negative way, where I thought every community was as diverse as Durham. Right? Exactly. That's until I got out into the world and I was like, oh, no, I did not realize. Right. I grew up in an all-Black neighborhood. I went to 2 historically Black colleges and Howard University in North Carolina, A&T. So my kind of view of the world was a little bit more skewed until I got more into corporate America. And it's like, oh man, okay, every place doesn't look like this. Yeah. So it is exciting to see folks with different backgrounds here in Durham. So Yuki, I had the same question for you.
Durham was, it wasn't intentionally come because of the ex-husband job was the African-American ensemble. And it was, maybe I want to try to live in Durham before, make you feel home. So when we hear, I speak a little bit English, but it was hard for me. It's not many Japanese people here, but even Japanese people here, but they are here as a doctor degree. So they are all way smarter than me. so a lot of people be hearing from the student, whoever, because a lot of Japanese people come, they leave after 2-3 years. So it's not much to have a good community because everybody get friends, everybody go home. And then we start up again, like that kind of environment. And then, it was very hard to live in, my own. So it takes time, but when you are very struggle, but non-profit organization kind of like support me if you have you have no, like I didn't have like a lot of things, so a lot of people support me as a mentally, physically. So it's just over time, getting to know each other is important. Getting to know people is important. So that's why I wanted the people know about my culture. So that way people understanding me where I come from and easy to explain because there's no way that no understanding Japanese culture in here. So that was the kind of like keeping my life going.
Yeah, I mean, community matters so much, right? I'm sure I haven't sat in on any of your sermons forever, but I got to imagine you're speaking a lot about community, right? Durham has always been a place that has prided itself on its community, right? From the education community to the healthcare community to the neighborhoods, right? I grew up going to the Salvation Army Boys Club on Austin Ave, down the road, right? So I spent a lot of time in like this area. You see these different communities come in, and to your point, it is challenging when you have folks that are, I don't know a lot about the Japanese culture. I want to learn a lot more, but I think the reality is that there needs to be a greater level of education across the community. So what's kept you here?
I seen that when I came here, it was great fun. It's only parking, but now it's growing to the big, nice, transportation system. So I seen the growing from the little small town to the bigger town. So I see the potential. The people are listening and trying to be changing to understand the other culture. So I really appreciate. So hopefully I can, pitch in to my perspective to hopefully make it done better, more. It's already better, but it's making more better for my children because my children is, half African and American and Japanese. So it's all mixing, but they're still confusing because they're all the culture and experience in the street or, the education is not giving them right information because they only focus on the regular school, not for the mixed racial that, go to the Durham public school. So they not really get the kind of like support from the school. So hopefully I'm doing this to, promote the Japanese culture, maybe able to help them, over the time, later on in their life. So that's what I'm doing.
Antonio, like, how has Durham been welcoming to you or not so much? Like, I don't want to speak for you. Like, what has been your experience?
So I've been here almost now 25 years in Durham. And since we arrived here, it was definitely a huge culture shock in terms of not knowing the language or speaking English. I came from Texas, and there I didn't learn how to speak English or write it in English. So it's really just a whole different world being here in Durham. But over the years, I've been really, really welcomed by people, specifically the African American community, who have welcomed me into the schools, into their homes, and allow me to be more aware about the beauty that this world has with all the cultures, the languages, and the experiences. And I want to continue to live here in Durham. I could go, for example, other places, other states, or other countries, but Durham is such a powerful space for me as a business owner, as someone who thrives in community, as a visual artist, as a consultant. I think it's having people of diverse nationalities and different languages come together. I don't think I would get that anywhere outside. And I've been to a few cities outside as well. So, but Durham still is grounding me here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's very diverse, and I think back. So I have my 30-year high school reunion in a couple of weeks in downtown Durham. I was just invited the other day, and I was thinking back. I was just reflecting on this conversation that we were going to have today, and it was like, back then there were so few pockets of places that I knew where there was the Latino community, right? I just remember growing up, and you're like, oh, it was Colony Manor off Junction Road. Like you knew that was a bigger community. You knew these pockets, right? But it wasn't like it wasn't something that was so pervasive that everyone kind of like intermingled. And then over the years, I started to see more, a lot less of that fragmentation and more kind of folks just kind of like all coming together. And then you start to see that transformation downtown. You start to see the transformation in, in stores and, storefronts and different types of businesses that were popping up that I had never seen before, right? Different types of foods and food trucks and just all these different types of businesses. So wherever you talked about business, right?
Yes.
It's not often I get to say reverend and business at the same, sentence.
I'm different. That's why I'm a cowboy pastor, man.
I said, on camera, I said, which one is the reverend? The one with the hat on? I'm like,
The head on your chest.
that's not the one I was going to
Imagine, right?
Look, it's all about authentic storytelling, right? We want to be authentic, right? So bring yourself. The reason why I'm wearing my Jordans, I apologize in your church, but I was trying to be myself.
You see? And that's what I like.
And you welcomed me in.
Exactly.
Right? And so I appreciate that. So how is Durham being welcoming to you as the city of Durham, as the county? Like let's take a step back. What types of resources have you been able to pull from in Durham that have been helpful for you? Business, church, community, other?
Thank you for that question. Also, I did put on cowboy. I want to explain that. At Duke, they know me as the cowboy chaplain. This character is not because I come from Texas or what, but when I grew up in Africa, in Zimbabwe, I used to watch cowboys and Indians when I was young. And I loved the character of a cowboy because I grew up in a farm, big range. So I love that, and I love it up to now. So I'm an African cowboy. All right, let's leave that alone. But I'm so happy that I don't take my presence here in Durham as a place I chose to be, but I take it as a core. Because when we started Shepherd House in McMahon, the other side of the town, and we wanted a place where we could be free and stuff like that, we came to this area here. And the time I came here, it was a very quiet church. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you would see one car out there, and you would see maybe two ladies, white ladies, getting out. Church is locked. That didn't look good to me. Right. This building is too big for having only 2-3 people coming in, lock it for Sunday. I didn't like that. So when they welcomed us, which is a great thing, it was Car United Methodist Church. They welcomed us. They gave us a place down there. We did renovate it and have a place to worship. Before time moved, we ended up being Shepherd House, now the main church here. And the first pastor, who was my senior pastor, left for Texas. Then they appointed me to be the senior pastor. I used to come in and it was just my car every day outside there. And I didn't like that. I'm not an office pastor. I want to be out there. Right. So I got out, stayed outside, see young people coming, give them a salute and take off my hat, to welcome them. And before I know it, people started to walk into the church, look for other ministries to come and join us. Thank God we had Feed My Sheep, a ministry called Feed My Sheep. They came to Shepherd House. Feed My Sheep. It works out so well. We started a food bank down there. And for all these years until last year, we were feeding more than 500 people a month in this area. Together, that organization in Shepherd House. Great. People would line up and come and have food. Saturdays, we have warm food and they eat. That gave life to this place and gave also joy to myself. That I'm here also to be a blessing into the community. Then we had other ministries which also came to join us as the church. I don't want this place to be called Shepherd House United Methodist Church. It's too long. I don't like it. I like it to be Shepherd House Community Center. The churches, the denominations are separating us. If you want to know something which separate people and put them in boxes, is denominations. Because I'll be like, I come from Baptist. What's your denomination?
I started Catholic.
Catholic.
Oh, Shintoism.
Shintoism. Already now, we have a problem right here. I'll be like, Shinto? No, what's that? A Catholic? Oh yeah, I know that one a little bit. Baptist? We're too proud. If I ask, then we are already separated. Yet we can still worship God, knowing where you come from, but not staying in the box, and make this place a welcome center to everybody. I've been always praying that we can have a recording center here, where the kids in this street, you see the boom, boom, boom in their singing, and they don't have a place to do that. Right. What about if they have a place where they can showcase their talents? And they will be coming every week, every time. Then on Sunday, if you want to make it Baptist, if you want to make it whatever, that's okay. Since I came here, before COVID, we had the Hispanic ministry down there. We have another sanctuary and a pastor there. We had also an African-American pastor who was coming to do the service here at 2. And we have the African service, which I'm African, which I was conducting an African service. But in that African service also, we had also French-speaking Africans. They also their pastor, but once a quarter, we bring everybody in here. Oh man, I tell you, if we show you the videos, you'll be like, these people can go to heaven, not those little groups. So I've been blessed to bring the community the best I can. Sometimes I fail in other things, but my dream is for this place to become a community center where everybody can enjoy it.
So when you hear that, Yuki, what do you hear? Like what are you looking forward to as far as building out the community that is Durham?
It would be great. I know there's so many people looking for the place to come to community center to do some activity. But I think, I actually, from Japan, I went to championship to baton twirling. So I know that a lot of activity is not good enough. Well, for me, I want to see more advanced, education-wise, after school program, be more advanced to the kids that may be accelerated to the different level, not just the babysitting. It's just the variety of the different activity they can learn. So then, not just STEAM, it could be more than STEAM. Because like he mentioned different culture. So like a lot of things, the culture running, or it could be a lot of things that you can do. But potentially to make it better, welcoming.
But I think that's a great point, right? A lot of people do come here because of our STEM, right, kind of education. And I talk a lot about, quick tangent, I speak a lot about artificial intelligence and technology and things. That's my background. So I was thinking about where was I in 1998? I was an intern at IBM down the road here, right, doing software engineering. But I talk about, how now we need to really start to move into, we're like in this Renaissance period where there needs to be more well-rounded education in community. And I talk to folks even at places like MIT and others are saying, hey, we need more liberal arts. We need more visual arts. So Antonio, I'm going to tee you up for this, right? There needs to be a more of a broad view of what education. I was on a panel for Wake Tech a couple of weeks back talking to their faculty. And we were talking about you have to broaden this out. It's not just about STEM. There's so many great thinkers out there. There's so many folks that have business ideas. And there's so many folks that want to bring a lot of value to this community. Let's take a step back though. These more kind of visual arts. So give us some idea. Like I saw that when I was reading your bio. What exactly are you doing in the visual art space? And why does that matter, you think, to this conversation?
So my art spans from including more voices that have been left out for many decades. I can't speak to more time than that, but as someone who has lived here, I never really saw myself represented visually downtown or in spaces. As an engineer or as a doctor or all these professions. And I think it's important for people to know that specifically now in today's narrative, that the Latino, Latina, Latinx community is as diverse and is a strong community as well. That we have lawyers working as well who started in many different fields as well. And I think it's important that representation can also, to your other question, can influence how the younger generations in community centers and learning about other countries can see themselves and see the possibility of they can become this and even more. And I think that's important. That the arts is it's an important vehicle for us to communicate these messages. And I think we can do this through conversations, but the power of a visual, the power of a stained glass window, as we see right now, it's a powerful presence that we all can encompass, a snapshot of something that we want to communicate. And I think that's a powerful tool to combat a lot of the ignorance, a lot of the hatred, the racism that is manipulating the narrative today.
Antonio, what's your hopes and dreams for Durham?
I sigh because I have many hopes and dreams for this
let's go.
beautiful city, but I'll just maybe give a few. The first one is continue to grow a strong visual art, strong culture, collaborative effort that you all have started for even before I arrived. I think that's important to build. And my dream will be integrating the Latino Spanish language as well into this whole narrative on how we all are here and how we have so much to contribute to this beautiful country and beautiful city as well. I think that's the second one. The third is to start and continue to build our newer generations, the young students, the teenagers, students who are in elementary school, so they can also have more opportunities and even go further than we and our parents have gone to.
We have a fundamental challenge where we have a lot of younger folks that their parents aren't native English speakers, right? And sorry to bring it back to technology, I like this kind of the space I live in. I said, we now have technology where if you're a Spanish speaking person, or if you speak Japanese, right? And you're asking your students, right? My kids are 4, 6, and 8, right? So it's very real for me because I'm thankful that, we were bilingual in our household. I said, but imagine if you were sending this child home to ask their parents to help them with some science course or some math course or something, and they don't natively speak, English. Yeah. I said, you're creating an environment now that is very challenging for these individuals. So you're looking at the child and saying they're not advancing as fast as the others. I'm like, well, their support system breaks down the moment they leave, right? But now you have different technologies and things where you can translate these things and you can put, empower even the teachers to be able to have things across multiple languages. So my hope, right, and I'm going to ask the Reverend here, is that we start to use these technologies and we start to use folks like yourselves that can influence how do we help our future generation, right, start to be in a better spot to grow and to understand. I think the more that we educate people across these different cultures, the more they will say, oh, okay, that was misinformation. What I thought is actually not reality, right? So Reverend, what are your hopes and dreams? I'm sure you get out here, you always got a lot of hopes and dreams.
Oh, yes. I will start with a prayer every morning. I'm not a prayerful pastor. I have other pastors who can pray all night. I have a very short prayer in the morning. Lord, can you help me to find out who I can be a blessing to? Just one person I can be a blessing to. So as I walk out of my door, I'm looking for that person. One. Just one. And I thank God that God always showed me that person, and I'll be serving with all of my heart. I'm very happy you talked about after-school program. We have so many single parents here. They took advantage of leaving their kids here with people who could help them while they are going for the next job, and come back and know that their kids were safe. They were at a safe place. But we, as a church, again, which is a missionary church, we have not inherited any money. The church members are young people, people who came for their education here. I just want to mention Durham Community College. I have an organization called Hands On International, which we help students, mostly from Africa, those who cannot afford to come here and have to do their school, but they've passed with grades which are so high. And we help them to come here and cover them through schools like Durham Tech, Web Tech, so that they pay like they are, in-state students. And we have students we send there. We have those who have graduated who are doing so much. We have one who is in this church who are now in the history of Black people who have managed to come up with new ideas, called Jonah Kadoko. And so looking at these kids coming here, whether they're coming from any different country, and having a place like Durham, where there are schools which can say, hey, we can embrace you, we can help you. Having other organizations of people who have been blessed, saying that we can also, give back to the community where we came from. Like what you said, I'll be watching you to see, hey, are you really doing what you said you were here? We need you. We need you. So I want to see that one day I'll not be here. But those people I've touched, maybe to give them just a little step to their dream, are having their dream fulfilled. And that is my prayer.
I'm hoping for the city is, I'm going to focus on cultural awareness in here, right? And I work with the Durham and the Tuama city is a sister city. So I'm hoping to future more like active exchange or more understand each other. That's my hoping to happen in the city.
I'll never forget the moment that my oldest, she's 8 now, when she was 3 or 4, was correcting my father-in-law in Spanish, and to see a tear come from his eye because she was able to communicate in his native language. Now he speaks English, right? But to see that, right? People don't understand the impact that things like that have when they can see themselves both in those older than them and those that are younger than them, to see the imprint that they put on folks. So I think it's amazing what you guys are trying to do for the community, for Durham, and how, pun in here, how bullish you are on, building things here in Durham. This has been a great conversation. I appreciate everyone, Reverend Antonio, Yuki. Thank you for making Durham proud, and hopefully we make you feel welcome, and we just continue to grow together.